I've I've got a bit of a problem. Do I still need an iPhone 17 Pro Max, or am I in denial? I buy a 17 Pro Max because I'm a pro. This is what I do for a living. Of course, I need the best of the best, but do I really? When I think about how I use my phone every single day, I barely touch the size of what an iPhone 17 Pro Max is capable of. And the one thing we all buy it for, I don't use anymore. And now, today, as I sit and record this, the iPhone 17e has just been announced. So I'm wondering, is it time that I switch from an iPhone 17 Pro Max to an iPhone 17e as my everyday phone? I'm David, and you've guessed it, this week we're talking 17 Pro Max versus iPhone 17e. I've been using Pro iPhones since the iPhone 14, 14 Pro, then 15 Pro Max, 16 Pro Max, and now the 17 Pro Max. It's almost a habit that I don't give serious thought to. But is it time to come out of denial and actually look at how I use my phone and wonder, is the 17 Pro Max and the Pro series of phones really what I need anymore? Times are tough. They're tough for me, and I'm sure they're tough for you. And I could save myself a whole amount of money by using a 17e as my daily phone rather than the 17 Pro Max. Now, don't get me wrong, I've got a real close affinity, particularly with the 17 Pro Max. Why? Because I started traveling a lot more last year, around the UK and then over to Las Vegas at the start of the year to CES. And that 17 Pro Max came with me. And the thing is, it's given me a passion. The 17 Pro Max, I have to thank for giving me a passion for photography. It's a huge side hustle of my life now. Every week, at least one day a week, I'll go up to London and I'll just spend the day shooting 300-400 images on my camera. But the thing is, because I put some third-party lenses on the 17 Pro Max and used third-party apps, it taught me the basics of photography and it made me realize how much I wanted to get into it. The 17 Pro Max taught me composition. It taught me framing. It taught me lighting, exposure values, white balance, different angles. It taught me so much about the art of photography. And then when I felt I'd kind of got as far as I possibly could with the iPhone, I wanted more. So when I came back from CES in January, I went to a photo show and I bought the camera that I'm shooting this on now, which is a Canon R50V, and I am loving it. But I'm only enjoying it as much as I am because of the knowledge that I learned from having the 17 Pro Max. But because I'm now using the Canon all of the time, I can't remember the last time I took a picture on the iPhone. That's what's made me wondering, do I need to spend all that money on a Pro Max phone when the main thing that we're all buying it for is the camera? I'm simply not using it. So then I got to thinking, well, what do I use my phone for? How does my phone get used on a daily basis? And it's really mundane, you know, there's nothing special to it at all. I have a 15-minute drive to and from the studio, so I use CarPlay to listen to music. I use SatNav, not so much in the car, but when I'm walking around London, finding all these shot locations, I'm using SatNav. I check emails, but I barely or very rarely reply to emails on the phone. It's generally always on the iPad. That I've got either the iPad mini or the iPad Pro with me when I go to London, so I'm generally replying to emails on one of those two devices. Then it's just things like authenticator apps, banking apps, posting on Instagram and Threads. That's kind of it. I don't need a Pro Max to be able to do that on. And there's one other consideration that's worth taking on board as well. When I'm walking around London, and London's no different to any other capital city, crime is an issue. Walking around with a 17 Pro Max, it's a target. Yes, I know I could put it in a case, but I don't happen to have it in a case. So I spend most of my day making sure that the phone is buried away in a pocket out of sight because I know how much a target it is. Oddly, cameras aren't quite so much of a risk, but an iPhone 17 Pro Max in bright orange certainly is. Now, I've been sensible recently. I've actually had my camera bag insured and I'm going to put an AirTag in it as well because I'm away from the studio with all of this kit so often that I think it's time just to be a little bit more pragmatic and be safe about the kit that I'm carrying with me. But I don't need to throw into the mix an iPhone 17 Pro Max as well. And then there's the camera situation. As I said, I can't remember the last time I took a shot on the iPhone's camera. But if I do want to take a shot, it's for creating a memory, just capturing a moment. It is nothing more than a snapshot in time. And the 16E or the 17E will do that just perfectly. If I need to take a video, it can shoot a little bit of 4K video if I really need it. But the Canon's always with me, so I don't use the camera on the phone, which is another reason I'm thinking that the 17E makes perfect sense. Now, as I sit recording this, the iPhone 17e has just been announced and I'm going to be getting one. So if there's anything you want me to cover when I do get my hands on the new phone, do let me know. But one of the things I know that it will do as well, if not better, is call quality. The C1X modem that I've experienced it in the iPhone Air, it gives every bit as good call quality as the Pro Max, possibly even better. And one thing that it does do better is the battery life, because it's not trying to do all those background tasks that the 17 Pro Max is trying to do. The battery on that thing's a tank. It will easily last me all day long, even using sat-nav in London, which is probably the biggest drain I put on my phone each week. I know that the 17E will be an absolute tank and easily get me through the day. So the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm honestly considering it could be time to switch. Maybe the time and the days of me being a pro user are behind me. And let's look at what's come to the 17E because it makes it even more tempting. It's starting at the same price of £599, but you're getting twice the amount of base storage. You're getting 256 gigs now. It's got the C1X modem, as I mentioned, from the iPhone Air. You've got Ceramic Shield 2, so those micro scratches that used to be an issue on iPhones, no longer. My 17 Pro Max that hasn't ever had a screen protector on it is still scratch-free after, 8-9 months. And the big thing, the one thing that so many comments used to be made about on my videos about the 16E was no MagSafe. Well, we've got MagSafe. So to say, I'm definitely going to be picking a 17E up. I think the only choice I've got to make is color. It's black, white, and a soft pink, which I suppose might look quite nice on thumbnails and videos. But I'm getting one. I'm definitely getting one because I know how good of a phone it is. And you know what? I think once I've got my hands on it and I'm enjoying it, switching my main number, taking my SIM from my 17 Pro Max and putting it into the 17E, I think it's almost a no-brainer. I don't know if there's something I'm overlooking or not. But the thing is, last year with the 16E, there was a lot of prejudice against it because a lot of people felt it was just that £100, $100 too expensive. I can see where you're coming from. It's only got a single camera on it. I don't think that's an issue. It's a good camera. I'd rather have a quality camera rather than lots of cameras. But I get that it's on a tipping point of being a little bit too expensive. But again, you get 6, 7, 8 years of software updates and you get physical in-store presence. You've got high street stores you can go into if you've got a problem to help you sort your phone out. So that $100, I think for the added value you're getting from buying an iPhone and the iPhone quality, just the general feel of it, it still makes sense. Many people, once they've started using the 16E, love it. There's so much positivity about it. The comments that I read, and you know that I reply to every single comment on my videos. The comments about the 16 are so positive. Once people get past the prejudice and look at what the phone does, there's nothing but good for it. The battery lasts all day. The screen's bright. You've got great reception with it now with the C1X modem. It's fast. Everything about it is good. And it just lasts and lasts and lasts. So you know what? I think it's time that I make a change. The more I think about it, I think it really is time for me to push the Pro Max to one side and embrace using the iPhone 17e. As I said, I will be getting one, so if there's anything you want me particularly to test when I get my hands, let me know. I'm thinking maybe a road trip, rather than just sitting here in the studio, actually putting it to use and seeing what it's like. I think you get more of an idea what the phone is genuinely like all day in all sorts of situations and different kind of conditions. If that's something you'd like, let me know. And also, don't forget to help the channel out. Times are tough in TechTube at the moment. They really are. We're making some great content. I'm loving sitting and making this content for you every week, but I need your help to make the channel grow. So don't forget, just do all that basics for me. You know what it's like, sub and notifications, all that stuff. It really does make a difference. And if you've enjoyed me talking about the iPhone 17e and what I'm looking forward to from the iPhone 17e, I'm going to leave you a video to watch now about the iPhone 16 and just how good it is and what we can expect the future to hold with its next iteration, the iPhone 17e.